Palm Sunday, a reading from St. Matthew's Gospel. When they had come near Jerusalem and had reached Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, just say this: 'The Lord needs them,' and he will send them immediately." This took place to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet, saying, "Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you, humble and mounted on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus had directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt, and put their cloaks on them, and he sat on them. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. The crowds that went ahead of him and that followed were shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!" Hosanna to the Son of David, shouting, calling out to Jesus, waving palm branches. This is what we remember about Palm Sunday. The noise must have been tremendous. The crowds were gathered in Jerusalem, ready to celebrate the Passover. Everyone was in holiday mood, and the atmosphere was ripe for a party. What better way to celebrate than to join a parade? And indeed there is nothing wrong in this at all. Celebrations add colour to our lives. They're something to look forward to and plan for amid the regular routine. Because routine there certainly is, and this is often overlooked when studying this episode from Christ's life. For before he could enter Jerusalem, a donkey had to be found, and it was the disciples' task to find it. Much detail is given to recounting this job. Jesus tells the disciples where to go, what to do, and what to say, and they dutifully bring back the animals. It's interesting to wonder what the disciples felt about doing this. Perhaps they had imagined a grander role for themselves on the day of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. Throughout their time with Jesus, disputes had arisen as to who was the greatest, who would sit beside Jesus in heaven, who would share the glory. How very down to earth were the jobs they were given: getting a boat ready, feeding a crowd, preparing a room for a meal. The disciples must have wondered why they had left their fishing nets at all. Very often in our lives, we find ourselves relegated to the routine and inglorious tasks that are necessary but not exciting, important but not interesting, and this can be disappointing. It can often be a sad disillusion to discover that serving the people of God comes down to fewer glorious conversion moments and more washing up of cups, tidying of toys, visiting people in nursing homes, removing half-eaten biscuits from the pews, and, as 2 of Jesus' disciples find out, finding a suitable donkey at the last minute. But by entering into the moment of these tasks, undertaking them mindfully, aware of every moment, taking care over every detail, we can fully inhabit the present. We can relish the task, focusing not only on its results, but on the preparation, offering the moment to God. Preparing the way for the Lord is often made up of performing humble and ordinary tasks, those exhausting, seemingly mundane, donkey-fetching details of service that become, through God's grace, part of the redemptive work of bringing nearer the kingdom of heaven. For even Jesus is not beyond washing feet, sitting by a well, or cooking fish at a lakeside.